Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren from Lady Lauren Explorer, and today we're talking about, I would say it's a duet, because it's the only ones that I've read that I believe follow the same couple. But this is a cowboy MM romance. This is Bareback by Chris Owen, and I'll be talking about Natural Disaster, which is the sequel to this. So let's get into this one first. This was great. Love it. The spice could have been more spicy, but I was okay with it because there's a lot of spice. Like, I mean, when I say more spicy, I mean like more descriptive, you know? But it's okay. Like, there was so much spice going on that I was like, okay, like once I got to like the 6th scene, I was like, all right, no descriptions. We go with emotions. We know they're doing it. There's some descriptions that you just like, yeah. But we have our character Jack. Jack is like 38, I believe, and when we begin this story, and Tornado, who is the other MC in this story. So Jack is basically like the head for all of the cow hands. I don't know how to say that, like the hands for this ranch that they're like he's a part of. He's basically like the top dog besides the boss. Tornado is one of the underlings who's also like prevalent because like he's also very good at his job. So like everyone say like they're the two golden sons for the ranch. And as we know, like Jack does not like Tornado because he thinks he's arrogant and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like they have like a tit for tat relationship. But then we get them having an accord, I should say. They decide to just, release one day. And that leads to a friends with benefits, or like acquaintance with benefits, enemies with benefits, how about that? Relationship for a minute, then turns to lovers, and it's lovers for a while. This was so good because this is two broken men who come together to open each other up. We're like 20 years. Like, it's been 20 years of this whatever's been going on at this ranch. It's been 20 years. And for Jack, for Tornado, I think it's been like 10 or 8 years in this world. So like having a relationship and having to qualify yourself as a relationship in this cowboy world of I don't know if it's like in the, I know it's when it's still like people treat like the LGBTQ community horrible, because Jack is out to most of everyone, and most of the people who work with him like figured it out. And when they did figure it out, before Tornado came onto the scene, there was some tension, there were fist fights and all that kind of stuff, but then it got worked out, and all the people who had more trouble with working for someone or having that person be your boss were let go, and so they kept the people who could. And obviously they got new people, so like Jack doesn't like say that he is, even though he's out to most people who know. Tornado is not out, so that's like their tension right there. They want to be Jack wants to be hush hush about it, because also like he doesn't want people to think that like he's friends with Tornado, and Tornado doesn't want people to know that he is out. Things happen and he gets outed, and more things happen that solidify their relationship, and it's good. until it's not. This, I cried when I got to the scene, because this is the second chance romance. It's not like labeled as it, it's just like there's infidelity in here. When it got to that part, because we knew that ever since Jack came back from jail, he had gotten to rehab in jail, he had never touched a lick of liquor. And that, like, again, it's been 20 years, so it was a while. He hadn't had a lick of liquor in a while. And to see his life partner cheat on him, and he, like, the emotion he had, because he follows him, because he has this inkling. He follows Tornado to wherever wherever Tornado was going, basically. Tornado meets up with another hand, and this hand, Jack kept telling Tornado that, like, oh, he likes you, he wants you, and Tornado be like, oh yeah, like, well, he wants both of us. And so they joked about it, but like Jack and Tornado said that they didn't want any other people for themselves, like, as they didn't want that new person to be with Jack. Like, Tornado didn't want him to be with Jack, and Jack didn't want Tornado to be with that new person. So like it was just like a standstill of like, oh yeah, like if we did, like, yeah, but like we don't, because we're very possessive of each other. Like, we don't want other people in each other's lives and bodies. Left it at that too. He had some inklings, but he just let it go until he couldn't. He follows Tornado to this rendezvous point that the hand was at, and sees the deed. And at first I thought it was just gonna be like, you know, it was just gonna be that, not penetrative. But then it became, and then I was like, oh, like, and he watched the whole entire thing. He watched both acts, and it was just heartbreaking, because he had no anger. And it was just like a numbing feeling of him watching and waiting to see the ending, and it ended. And then I just started tearing up, because once they put their clothes back on and then like they left, he walks back to the party that's going on, and he's like, he hears people, but he's like, he knows people are trying to talk to him, but it's all like noise. And he goes to the cooler, basically, and gets 4 bottles of whiskey, because he's like, beer won't do it. Cradles them, and then walks out the party of the ranch, and just keeps walking and walking and walking and walking, and he walks hours. Then he sits down and then just starts drinking. And even when he's drinking and he knows that he just broke this, he relapsed. He's like, he can't feel angry. Like, he's just reluctant. He is acknowledgeable. Like, it's just like he knows what he's doing. And it was so painful to read. Like, I was like, tears were just silently falling. It wasn't like I was ugly crying. Tears were just falling, and I was just like, wow, like that's very sad. He wakes up the next morning. He collects the bottles. He's very conscious. He puts them in a recycling container. I was like, wow, like, more power to you. He walks to the house, the bunkhouse that he shares with 3 other hands, including his lover, because they share a room. And he doesn't have anger when he walks in, but like, his lover is angry, like, where were you all night? Like, why are you just coming home? And he walks up to him, like, you could obviously smell that he's been drinking. And he's like, and Tornado is mad, visibly mad, that he drunk. Like, he's like, you were out drinking last night. And he hits him back, was like, yeah, after I saw you and that hand going at it. Then he walks to him and his partner's room, closes the door, takes a shower, gets out the shower, and sees his lover sitting on the bed. He's like, this is like, I'm so sorry, this will never happen again, blah, 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 blah. And I'm talking about this because this was like the most, this is the most feeling I had, like, besides like giddy and all that kind of stuff. This is my most emotional points in the book, like the cheating and then onwards, because Tornado and him are over. Like, he says that Tornado tries to make this work. They try to stay in the same room, but then like Jack is like, hey, he needs to move out. Everyone finds out that like they're like mad at each other, but they don't know why they're mad at each other. They think that it's because Jack relapsed. So Tornado moves to the empty room, and they're still cordial. Even though Tornado wants to like talk to him, he doesn't talk to him, all that kind of stuff. And it becomes to a point where they're kind of like okay. Then like it hits a tipping point where Jack just wants to go and like leave the house, leave this tension like that's having. And he goes to the first place they ever did the deed, the first place that they talked about their feelings, the first place, like, it was this very special place. And he's just like, he's about to go to sleep, and then he hears Tornado come up, and they have this talk. And in this talk, that's what made me cry again, because Jack now wants to know what all happened. He asked if this was the first time. It wasn't. He asked if he did the penetration. Did the hand penetrate Tornado? And Tornado goes, yes. And that crumbled Jack more, where he was resolute, and he's like, I don't want to, this will never be, there will never be hope. I can't trust you. I can't trust you with my heart. And so Tornado understands that, and he's like, well, I can't be with you. I can't stay here and work with you every day if there's no hope. So yeah, it was, oh gosh, I was tearing up even more. It was so, woo. Yes. Okay. So that was it. They do get back together, because it was a breakdown. Like, the whole point of him cheating was, you know how you start arguments, like you have arguments, or you are mad at someone, but you keep letting this stuff slide without talking about like why you're mad, because they keep doing it, and then you're like, oh, okay, like that person doesn't appreciate me. But they think that like it's okay because you haven't said anything. Like, it's all about communication. They weren't communicating. So when we get mad at something that the other partner was doing or kept doing, they didn't talk about it, but it just kept adding on to the pressure of the relationship on both ends. And so then they just kind of distanced themselves, because like they were this added resentment of like all the stuff that they haven't talked about in their relationship, all these arguments they're having that haven't been resolved. So like, what do? Distance. And so in that distance, Tornado found someone who could give him what he needed, with no attachments, which is intercourse. And that was it. That's what led to that, and all that kind of stuff. So like, they resolved that, and it was very, very like great at the end, even though it did lead to like someone very important to them passing away. But yeah, this was great. Natural Disaster is the second book, and this is the aftermath. Like, so they're still dealing with like the trusting, like they trust each other, but like there's still that like lingering from Jack of like what happened with them. They are now the owners of the ranch, and they're like husbands. Like, they call each other husbands. Though they're not officially married, because again, at the time I don't think you could be. So like, yeah. Then, something very tragic happens. They're gonna be taking care of Jack's oldest sister son, who the older sister, like, which is another thing in Bareback, his family disowned him. Jack's family disowned him when he became like an alcoholic, because there's something he did to lead him into prison that technically he didn't do. He just pled guilty to get help. That's what his lawyer did, but the judge messed it all up because the judge believed that he actually did the crime that was committed, but whatever. So his parents told his whole entire family that Jack died. So for 20 years, they think Jack's dead until Jack's mother passes away and his older sister is cleaning out her house and finds letters from Jack and a number to reach Jack where he is now. And so she calls, and they like have a family reunion, kind of, because Jack's brother does not believe in him and thinks of him as a sinner because of his lifestyle. So because of that, Jack's older sister, she tragically dies in a car accident. Her son survives, and she had just recently changed her will from their younger sister to Jack and Tornado to raise her son, because they have a more stable like relationship. They're in a relationship, first of all. They own a ranch, they own a house. So like, yeah, it would be more stable for her son in the long run. And it just so happens like she had just changed it, and then she tragically passes away. So like now they're taking care of a rebellious teen who kind of had like in the back of his mind had his uncle, the religious uncle, telling him that like his other uncle is going to Leo down there, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, I don't believe that because like God loves you, God will always love you, blah 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 blah. But the reason he's rebellious is because he's leaving the state. He's going to Arkansas, that's where they live, to live on a ranch. So he's leaving his friends, his other family, his team, to move to a different state, and it'd be like Cowboys. So like it's very rebellious. And then on top of that, like you have Jack and Tornado's like relationship still figuring it out, trying to get to where they were before all of the infidelity stuff happened. And so you just add, that's like, it's just a crunching of pressure. This was okay. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I could have technically just stopped at Bareback and just called it a day. I'm just saying. But that is it for these two. I hope you enjoyed this. I know sometimes like I just do reviews on books that probably you would never read or that you've heard of or already read, but sometimes it takes like you having a different perspective of what you read or situations and stuff like that. So like that's why I like talking about how I felt about the book. I will suggest reading Bareback if you're okay with infidelity. I know some people like don't like infidelity. Understandable. Infidelity is like in the last 1/5 of the book. In the aftermath and then getting back together is like that 1/5 of the book, but everything else is just like them falling in love and going through the motions of falling in love, and then you immersing yourself in their backstories and all that kind of stuff. It's just like very, very healing and emotional. So yeah, would definitely tell you to read Bareback because it was good. But that is it. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you are, and I will see you later. Bye.